Hello and welcome to the Bold Black Girls podcast. I'm Aries.
And I am Kim.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
My energy has been still pretty low, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we are in spring now.
You
Last
springing up?
Sunday,
Springing
spring
forward?
forward. Last week we lost an hour,
Yeah, that was
and I
hard.
felt every bit of it on top of my low energy.
Mm-hmm.
So I usually go to the doctor around spring
Mm-hmm.
for my annual wellness
I
checkup.
usually go like in December before my benefits is about to run out.
Yeah, I don't want to do that because guess what? Like, what if you have to reschedule? Then you get pushed into the next year of the benefit year. So I try and do it in the middle. Either I used to do it around my birthday, and then I started doing it around my dad's birthday. I don't even know how I got to March.
I live on the edge, girl.
I see. And so we share the same doctor who is quite amazing.
Mm-hmm. Sure, how you
And
sitting up in there waiting for that in that waiting room for
well,
a
it was
while?
actually better.
Well, I haven't been since the pandemic, so that's probably
Well,
maybe that has something
and
to
my
do with it.
suggestion is always to get the first 2-3 appointments in the morning.
Really?
Don't wait to the middle of the day to have your appointment. So,
Mm-hmm.
of course, I was there early, and she was like, your vitamin D is low, and I
Mm.
think that as Black people, a lot of us are very, very deficient in vitamin D.
What is that though? Like what? It's not
So
milk, because you know how they used to
is
make it seem like you have to
yes,
get it out of milk,
and so we know
and we
vitamin
be lactose
D,
intolerant. So
right? I know I can't. I switched over to almond milk.
I've been on soy almond probably since I was pregnant with LJ.
So it says vitamin D is strong for bones, but this is a vitamin D3.
But like, what kind of foods?
Who I honestly I don't even think it's a food.
Because it has
It's
to be
sunshine.
something within the foods too,
It's
though, right?
sunshine.
So
We
like
don't
getting
get enough
outside.
sun.
Interesting.
Exactly. And so of course because the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
We have not
Yeah.
been able to go outside. So
Girl, you haven't been outside. People are outside. Okay. That's why sometimes I'll just go in the backyard and just sit because I've
right.
been deficient as well. I probably still am. That's probably why I've been tired too.
Yeah.
Um, and they have the little. I take multivitamins though, so I'm like that should be in there. But
maybe not as many units as you may need.
mm-hmm.
So I am back on vitamin D pills. I was taking them, but then mine was elevated when I went last time. So I was like, well, let me ease up.
Mm-hmm.
Not realizing that then I eased all the way up.
Got your pills.
Yes.
Get your little Monday through Friday
And I
thing.
did. I had to
Little
get a pill
box.
box.
She's reaching that age, y'all. We got the
So
pill box now.
yeah, so now I'm trying to just continue to rest and take my pills and
Take your
so
pills,
I can
girl.
get back, right? Because spring is here, Texas is open.
The sun is out.
Summer I do plan to like get out a little bit.
Oh, I'm gonna be out. Don't let the world know right now. I'm about to be out here in these here streets.
Now,
Not like I used to, because I don't have the energy for that no more. Like I already know that I'm not gonna do half of the things that I used to do. Because it's gonna take probably a whole year to get used to even getting out.
We talked about this.
Being like, I gotta get dressed. I went to lunch with some coworkers last week. And they two of my coworkers that live close by. And so we met up. We hadn't seen each other in a year.
Oh my God.
And
physically,
yeah. And so I got to put some clothes on. I was like, let me get dressed.
How did that feel?
It felt good. I was like, okay, I get to be cute,
good.
For a little bit. One of my coworkers, he has chickens. So he lives up in like Denton, somewhere up there. Wow. And he brought me a dozen fresh eggs. I was like, ooh, nice. This is exciting. Some farm life.
Right. Organic.
So, right.
I told you I want my food and my men organic.
Okay, we have to get into what an organic man is. Come on, somebody. But yeah, so that was cool just to like get out and stuff. I was like, I think I'm somebody now. I'm out here trying to be out here a little bit. But that was cool. We had sushi at a place that I will be going back to because it was actually really good. So yeah, that's me this week. I feel like sometimes when we record, I don't know if it's the days that we record on, but I'd be like, it be stuff happening in the news. And I feel like by the time the episode comes out,
It's old news.
It'd be old news, but that's still,
It's still relevant.
it still be stuff happening now.
Right. So we had a lot going on this week, right?
Yes.
I don't even know if it was Tuesday, what day it was. Well, let's start off with Kirk Franklin.
Oh yeah, Kirk. Listen, that was me and the boys been laughing about that all week last week.
The boys heard it.
Yeah, because my kids.
Well, see, and that's the thing. Like nowadays, you really can't hide anything.
I don't hide nothing from my kids,
especially with TikTok, right?
Yeah, and everybody made like funny memes, like and jokes about it afterwards. So it was like, what is that? And Marvin is so he's like, why? What happened? I want to hear it. I want to hear it. Right? So I let him hear it, and he's just been cracking. He was cracking up so hard. But it opened up a dialogue. So basically, if you've been living under a rock, Kirk Franklin had a conversation leaked between him and his son, who's like 33 years old. So he's a grown man.
Fully grown.
And Kirk went off on him.
Clean off.
I mean, he cussed his butt out. Kirk Franklin is a gospel artist. But Kirk has never been one of those people that act like he's better than anybody or none of that. Which is why I think people really had a lot of grace. I think his son thought he was about to blast his dad and like make him kind of jeopardize him, in his career because of him being labeled a Christian artist or whatever like that. And Black people were not having it. Okay. They were like, first of all, we're with you, Kirk, because these kids be disrespectful.
We stand and support you, Kirk.
Exactly. He got more support. I think that most people that how cancel culture is anyway. So people be ready to cancel somebody. They waiting to cancel somebody. Yes. So I thought it was really interesting that because when it first came out, I was like, oh my God, no, not Kirk. And it was really not because of what he was saying. I just didn't want him to be looked at
in that light.
Yeah, because I'm like, I'll be cussing. Y'all ain't heard me cuss my kids out. I don't cuss them.
It was some controversial comments and feedback because there were people on TikTok like, we have to stop doing this.
The abusive behavior and all that stuff. Because I'm like, now when I cuss at my kids, I don't cuss my kids out. You know what I mean? Like calling them out of their name and like stuff like that. I'm gonna be like, get your black A. And I might say that sometimes.
But we start off like my thing is 3 strikes, right? Hey, go have a seat. Can you please sit down? You better sit the
exactly. I can't do 3 no more because I'll be getting so irritated. See, mine it'd be so soft because I'll be like, okay, I already asked this once. That's my warning. When I've already done it one time, I said, now I already said it once. So when I got to open my mouth again, don't start acting all special when you think, because they'll act like they, yeah, like you didn't hear me. You heard what I said. But I also had sympathy because I was like, man, I know the feeling. If I know it with my kids that are younger, when I be like, I'm ready to kill you, but you're not gonna kill them,
Black mamas.
But it made me research because there's this podcast, and we've talked about this before, called Teaching Hard History. And actually, it wasn't that. I've been reading Warmth of Other Suns.
Oh, by Isabel.
Don't get me to anyway, but back in the day, and she talked about this in the book about how, like, let's say our parents, our grandparents, when they were raising their kids, they raised them very in a way where there was a lot of like teaching you how to carry yourself in public so that you don't lose your life, basically, type of thing. So you can't be, let's say if they were in the South, especially looking a white person in their face, like talking back, stuff like that. Like certain things, it was like, I'm gonna teach you at home so nobody kills you. So some of that, what they were giving their kids and that whooping them and talking to them a certain way was so that when they get out in the street, they know better, right?
They wouldn't do it.
And then that rolled off into our parents, which I think they did it even when it wasn't necessarily required to the degree, right? To that same degree. Now we're doing like, I'd rather beat you than the police, kind of thing, right? That's kind of the threat that is out there. It's not like the neighbor across the street. You know what I mean? It's not the same. It's not at that level, but But it's like, if I tell you to stop, you need to be listening, because when the police tell you to stop, they're gonna be shooting your butt. Like, this is literally the type of conversation that is had in the Black households, most of them. So when Kirk did that, and he basically told him that he'll break his neck, he went there.
He was very passionate.
Oh, and I felt where he was coming from too.
Like, we only heard that clip, so we don't know what led up to that. So that's the other thing. Like, we always will make assumptions, but we don't know what Kirk's son did. Like,
exactly. And so what I heard was, and Kirk came back and kind of talked about it, said they have a family therapist. He brought them on the line. He didn't play the whole recording, apparently.
Right.
And then there was an interview with his mom, which I was like, "Oh, is she about to be trying to?"
I was afraid.
Don't be coming at Kirk now. But she was supporting. She said, "We are co-parents, and we've been co-parenting him. He's been giving us problems. We were teenage parents. We have not been, perfect.
Exactly.
But we've done a lot for him, and he's been an issue, basically." She's like, "I love my son. I want him to, get it together. But like," she said, he recorded him. He should probably have some of me too." So,
oh my God,
I like the fact that at least, as the parents, even she said, yeah, and he's 30 something. He about to be 33 years old, in a couple months. And even within that age, that's still my child, and that's kind of the reality, right? People act like once the kid turned 18, then I could just let you just go do your thing. That's not real.
Some people do.
I'm 41 years old, and my parents I talk to them every other day, or every day. They are involved, when you have kids, they're involved. Like, you're not gonna just be out of it.
Right.
But
it sounds like he had an expectation of Kirk on something, and he has some unhealed things that he needs to work through.
Yeah, she didn't give him all his business, but she basically was saying, yeah, he got some stuff that he needs to work on. So I was like, wow, Black family dynamics. I mean, there's so much to it. You got this blended family. You have the co-parents trying to work together on this issue. Kirk's daughter came out saying some stuff about it. Like, y'all don't know the whole story.
And we don't.
Blended family life is something else. I done been there, child. Let me tell you, child, that blended family life will have everybody acting crazy.
Oh my gosh.
And that's one of those dynamics that can be very scary. I know I think about it when I'm thinking about a relationship, right? I'm like, ugh, Lord, I need to know all about your exes, that you have children. If you got children with somebody, I need to know how that is. What is the dynamics of your relationship? If the kids are a certain age, if they're not a certain age, I still need to know. All that
can have an impact on you.
Mentally,
emotionally, financially.
It will.
It will.
Oh, it will. Trust me.
And that's dynamics are so important.
Yes.
It's just like, when you're looking for a job, you're looking for the right culture.
Mm-hmm. I mean, all of those factors.
The dynamics of the team.
The kids' mother, the
children.
The children themselves. Your mama and daddy. Your sisters.
Yep. That's
mostly the sisters. The brothers don't be tripping that much. It be them sisters.
And I don't know why.
But I think it's because it's the relationship. It's like big brother. A lot of times they kind of step in as the dad. If the dad is not around, they kind of have been there as the male figure for everybody. And just like I said, like you said, those dynamics all together. Like, what is all that? Tell me the story. Tell me the family story. Where are we at?
What do we value? Like, how were they raised? Because you raising children and you don't discipline and reprimand, that's going to be a problem over here, because I reprimand and I discipline.
And the way that I do it is a certain way. And I'm going to tell you, like, there's times where I've seen dudes like reprimand their kids, and I was like, you doing too much. I don't like all that. You ain't gonna be yelling at my kids like that.
So
I be like, hold on now. I don't know.
So
it's a little
too far?
Too much. It's like, no. Yeah, I'm not big on, like, especially as a man, like, there's a level, you don't have to do as much.
You really don't.
You shouldn't have to.
You can raise your voice.
My dad hardly never if my dad raised his voice to me, it might have been once, and I probably broke down and just like cried and crumbled.
So we probably have the same experience. So I don't do well with men getting loud with me, because my father never got loud with me.
You get loud with me.
So my head might spin. Like, wait, who are they talking to?
Yeah, I'll be triggered. I don't like the yelling. Don't yell at me.
Now, if for my mother, I was used to.
Oh yeah, my mom
Okay.
yells all the time. That's probably why I be. That's exactly why I be doing it. I'm like, and I be mad at myself sometimes. Like when I go, I'm like, Oscar, and I'll be like, and they know that I'm working on it. Like this is something that me and the boys talk about all the time. I'll be like, help me, help you and me. You know, like work with me, because my natural instinct is to yell, because that's how I was raised. So I'm trying to not do that. So when I have to, when I told you that I'll do the warning thing, I'll be like, okay, I've already said this. Don't make me repeat myself. Like you're bringing me into a place, you know, that I don't want to be in. So I try to like, you know, have us work together on that.
And I mean, and I feel, Kirk, like we're not perfect.
No.
Right. I look back at some of the things that I did as a parent. I'm like, I've had to go back and apologize. Like, sorry, I did that. I'm growing, I'm evolving, and I do not want to be the reason why you need counseling.
Girl, I'm like, look, you probably already gonna need it anyway.
Right.
But let's minimize the amount of things that you're gonna need it for. Exactly.
I gotta have a new saying. TNT.
TNT, okay.
Toxic and trauma.
Okay.
I'm avoiding TNT.
Oh, okay, you avoid
no toxicity and no trauma.
Okay.
And I don't want to bring it either.
Right.
I don't want to be part of that.
And that comes from a self-awareness. You know, I feel like that's where a lot of issues start. A lack of self-awareness. It's when we talk about all this stuff, because it's like, Lord help us with all of this, right? And I was watching something and they were talking about how, like, if we were being honest with ourselves about what motivates us, things that we are on board for, like, let's talk about even with the presidency, right? So you got Trump and Biden. If you are in denial about the things that are wrong with your candidate, like every candidate had issues, both had issues,
absolutely,
right? And so to ignore the issues of one because you're like, I'm gonna be for this person,
right?
You need to be saying, I know I'm ignoring this. Like, don't act like they're not there. Like you're purposefully
that I'm ignoring that.
Yeah, like I knew I was ignoring certain things about Biden because I'm like, I just don't want this other person. Right. I ain't really for him. I'm not for him. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't for Biden. I was against the other guy. You know what I mean? So it's like, be honest. I voted for Barack originally because he's Black. Like, when am I ever going to get this chance? I don't know all the stuff about it. I didn't know none of his stuff, like all his politics. I'm voting for Black man. You know, like that was literally it.
And that's a bias that we had, right?
Yeah. And then like coming into, then I realized, oh, okay, he's smart. He's this, like all the things came with it. But then I was like, but when it came down to it, I'm like, he's getting my vote. Being honest about that. That's what it was. So we got to be honest about those things.
And honesty is key, because I think if we are really honest with a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
We just said we voted for him because he was a Black person. Sometimes people hire people because they look like them.
Oh, yes. What do they call that? It's like a similarity bias or something like that. You went to the same college. You went to the same, you're from the same place or whatever. That's why they tell you how to win friends and influence people. You go find out everything about this person so that you can connect with them on some kind of level that'll create that, right? That sense of like, you know, oh yeah, girl, what? You in my sorority? Yes, girl.
I'm gonna get you in.
Now, you know, we got a connection point. So speaking of connecting points, you know, we talked about it last week a little bit with the anti-Asian, you know, hate, hashtags and things that are going on right now. And just truly, there's been an increase in violence against Asians, Asian Americans, which is like really came from, you know, the rhetoric from last year with the coronavirus and the China virus and the this and that, and people just being super ignorant. The same ignorance, right? We're talking about the same ignorance from what we deal with all the time, basically.
What we've dealt with for so long and continue to deal with.
And it's been interesting. And I mean, I go through a lot of different kind of emotions on this. When I grew up in the Bay Area. It was very diverse. We had in my neighborhood, Mexican, Asian, specifically Chinese, because I don't know a lot about the politics at the time, but apparently people were immigrating to the US, and lived in certain places, and it was like families that probably had 10 people living in one house, and stuff like that.
Wow.
But we were right there. I mean, it was just straight all kinds of people, living in the same neighborhood and stuff. So I grew up around a lot of Asians, and
You truly grew up in a diverse
I
neighborhood.
did. My third grade teacher, it was so many, my friends, like I just grew up around all kinds of folks, but I also grew up hearing all the like stereotypes around it as well. Same thing with Africans that came over from,
Right.
It was like all these like derogatory terms, and especially back in those days, it was very prominent. And I'm positive they were also getting a lot of those stereotypes about us. I grew up in areas where they have a Chinatown,
Same.
and stuff. So we go in there to get the good stuff. Like I even here in Plano, I'll go over to the grocery store at the Asian market to get all my seafood and just different stuff like that. When I'm making a gumbo or whatever, they got all the best stuff. So there's a lot of anybody that immigrated over from another country got negative stereotypes about Black people, on their way here. So of how they, look at us.
Yeah.
And it's just, I be like, why we gotta be the ones? Y'all act like we asked to be here. We did not ask to come here. You know what I'm saying? Like, why y'all gotta put us out here?
Us here.
Yes. So anyway, so there's been interesting dynamic, I think, now that we're seeing this shift. in the language, in the emphasis regarding hate going towards Asian Americans. Obviously, that man who went in Georgia and murdered, was it 6 or 8 people? 6 who were Asian American women, and talking about he was a sex addict and
he was having a bad
he was attracted to Asian women, and that's how he felt like he was going to stop his temptation from his sex addiction or something like that. It was just a whole lot along that line. They tried to make it very much focused more on his sex addiction and trying to get rid the world of sex workers, which nobody ever said they were sex workers, so we don't even know what all that. And if they were, that might give you a right to go killing people. But they were Asian Americans, and this still is along those lines of the hate that has, and the violence, against them. And we heard something about, with the media kind of putting emphasis
the narrative
on Black people needing to, support. And I'm like, we support everybody who goes through these things. We know what it's about.
Don't get supported.
We know what this is about, So yeah, we're gonna ride with whoever's going through oppression, because that's just what we relate. We know, we relate to it. So it's just always interesting how the narrative shifts. This man, he's getting, he had a bad day. Is that what was his name? Was he the sheriff or something?
Of the police chief.
Yeah,
in Atlanta.
He had a really bad day.
And that's a slap in the face, and I think about bad day, and we've talked about this, like even the discrepancy with Black children at school versus white children and how they're disciplined.
Mm-hmm.
We've heard, hey, they had a bad day, versus, well, we have suspended him and he can no longer come here for the next week because of his behavior.
Yes.
And it's not like, oh, well, he had a bad day as well.
He's not normally like this.
Yes.
That's really what they're saying. They're like, he's a good dude. Today was just a bad day for him.
However, when it comes to a Black boy, they're either suspended or they're sent to an alternative school. They're not given the same grace. And it's just like, it just continues, right?
Let's just go back to George Floyd. They told all these stories about what he did in the past to justify that man being choked to death in front of the world. Like, well, he had some run-ins, but none of that matters right now.
Maybe he had a bad day that day.
None of that even mattered to the point of this man sitting on his neck, basically. And so, literally sitting on this man's neck and killing him in front of the world, so when it comes to and they'll put mug shots of the Black people up, to say, and this man, I don't know. It's just all this stuff is just crazy. And it all boils down to the same thing. it's the same thing that we're all fighting against, right? That we are fighting against. And if we all just kind of gather those forces together and unify, I think we can help, just change this because, yeah.
And it bothers me that it is 2021. And I feel like, in a sense, we've kind of digressed.
Girl, I've been listening to, I've been in the Baldwin, but I also was listening to this speech from Malcolm X. It's called Ballot or the Bullet. So just go look it up whenever y'all get a chance. And literally, if you just take that speech and put some color on it, put it in 2021, it's the same.
It's the same. It's like a copy paste.
And I'm like, so what have we accomplished, y'all? He talks about, how easy it is you always see, when a politician is trying to get the black vote and stuff, they butter up all these black leaders and clergy and people so that say, oh yeah, he's good. Yeah, he's a good white man, or he's a good, whatever. Right. And then we just go right there and do it, and they never come through on their promises, that they make. And so I think it was interesting when we were going through the election period with Biden, and people were like, no, we're going to hold the vote hostage and all this stuff. And people were like, how are you going to hold the vote hostage? Like, it was such a thing. They're like, no, because we got some demands, right? And we want to hold them to them, and we're going to hold it until then. And really, that's kind of what worked to get Kamala in that spot, and some other things. And it's like, if we could do that, how much more can we actually hold them accountable to when they get into office, right? So it's going to be a lot of spotlight. So I think we gotta continue to push and not be scared to step outside of what the norm typically is. That's the part that if we keep doing that, guess what? We'll be replay Malcolm and Martin and whoever, all those old,
and it's still speeches,
and they still relevant. It's gonna stay relevant because we keep on doing the same thing. We got to change it, and I hope that the Asian community will, as we continue to support them, start seeing, because there's a lot of narratives around that, as well, that we've had issues as Black people in the Asian community at some points, so we got to really look into that, Rodney King and during the riots and all that stuff. And it's like almost, we joke, Black people joke about everything now, right? But when it comes to the going into the liquor store, being followed around
at the beauty supply,
all these different things that were there. And so it's like, we got to fight through all that stuff that we knew was there and say, even still, we going to have y'all back higher, because we know how it is. We know what y'all are fighting against. And so, just so that everybody who's out there, any of our listeners that are Asian Americans, we support y'all. We stand with you. We don't tolerate that crap.
Period.
So it doesn't matter who it is. It's the same emphasis that we
hate is hate.
It's the same thing. So definitely, if y'all have any kind of ways to support the Asian community, make sure that you do so by spreading that out into your networks. I've been seeing a lot of the posts kind of like on LinkedIn.
I saw some on LinkedIn too.
And some other stuff too.
Because I know it's really increased in the Bay. Like there's been a lot of...
Because there's a lot of Asians in the Bay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I just hope it stops.
Any person that'll walk up to an old person, I don't care what...
in the face?
You're crazy. You're crazy. I don't care what the nationality, none of that. Anybody that walk up to an old person... period, right? And it's not just old people that this happens to, it's all kinds. But just thinking about that, like, that's why I'd be like, this is the straight evil, stuff that you see. I'm like, somebody walk up to an old person.
So much evilness.
They live here just like you. Why you think they got something to do with anything? like they're not, I don't know. It's just a whole thing. So anyway, anywho, on a lighter note,
well, I don't know if this is
it lighter?
I don't.
It's not really lighter, but I feel like this had to be in another country.
I don't care where it was. It's like,
I know, but still. So we had
TikTok. I think I saw it on. Did I see it?
Was it on TikTok? I think it was on TikTok. But anyway, we see this video of this woman who appeared to be white. She could have also been Hispanic, but on the whiter side. Like they didn't really they made sure they didn't really show you her whole face.
Yes.
But she had on a whole black face, and her skin was painted brown. You know, like it was a full body suit basically, and her hair was in a little fro with the little lines on the side. Like they put some cheekbones on her. Did you see that? It was kind of like, what is that stuff called that they put on for in the movies when they put the like plaster or something?
So
not
what they
plaster,
did in the Eddie Murphy movie.
Yes, like how he would put the different faces on.
Yes,
it was like that, and she did a whole performance.
And I was like, was that her
what
voice?
Was the song? I think she was trying to make her voice sound a little
I was like,
or
was she lip singing, right?
It sounded like if she was singing, because it didn't sound like the song. I knew that song.
I don't know that song.
I do. Hold on, because I'm about to find it. So I just want to see what the song.
I was like, I didn't realize we were still doing that.
Yeah, this had to be in another country. And when I tell you that the people in the audience were dancing their butts off,
like they probably did not know.
It was like judges. They were doing she was doing a performance for some judges, like how we would do like American Idol or like America's Got Talent or something like that. That's what it was. It was in some other place because they were speaking Spanish. And I said, now
so maybe that was part of the performance.
They
had
nothing.
To get in full
there ain't costume. Nothing, and they know too
that it was inappropriate.
You do not do that. Like that's just crazy. And it's 2021, y'all. This ain't like the 1900s. That sounds like heck a long ago, huh?
And I'm starting to feel like every time I see something on the news, I'm like, we have not progressed.
Man, we are just going through the same stuff over and over. I mean,
just in a new age.
I don't think we talked about, because I don't really watch like The Bachelor, but I do follow Rachel Lindsay because I listen to her podcast and some of the stuff that she does from The Bachelor, the first Black Bachelorette, and how she had got into, she didn't even get into it, but Chris Harrison, the one who hosts the show, how he was like taken up for one of the girl who ended up winning The Bachelor as she's the one who he picked at the end, I guess. Had been to like this antebellum party or something like that in 2018. It wasn't like it was he was like, that was back in 2018. Like he was super, when I say adamantly defending this girl to Rachel, and Rachel just kind of sat there and let him talk himself into a grave. And because some people was like, you should have got on him. She was like, I let him talk so that people could hear how he really feels.
Wow.
And when I tell you, she got hate, mail, death threats, stuff like that for
Rachel?
just for being a part, like for asking the question. Because he ended up getting he didn't get laid off or nothing, but he basically had to, he stepped down to go get some help. You know how they got to go get racism.
Yep.
What do they call?
Just like with
Papa
the whole,
John's.
I guess with the View.
Oh no, not the View. The Talk.
The Talk,
girl.
And they just took the whole show off. Instead of saying, okay, we're disciplining this one person, you penalize.
That's privilege to me.
They empower.
So I can't get my check.
P&P.
Because you racist.
So you penalize everyone.
We didn't even talk about that. How she did Cheryl Underwood on that show. I said, Cheryl, sis, let me tell you something.
She did what Michelle Obama told us to do.
And that's what Rachel did.
Remember you told me that. You told me you were gonna always go high.
I am.
Sometimes I'm gonna go medium. Okay. It just really depends.
when I say I am
I'm
speaking
still
those
working in
things that are not
progress.
as though they are. So I got to say that because I want to. That is
Right,
my
yeah.
desire. However, I hate that we have to, because otherwise we get demonized. If Cheryl would have went Cheryl on her, it would have been all about how bad Cheryl went off on her.
And they would have missed
That's
the
what it
whole
would have. And she would
part.
have been like, "Oh my God, you're
The
attacking
tears,
me."
the
Yeah.
tears.
And that would have made me even more furious. So for her to stay calm while that lady said, "And don't you cry." I'm the one that needs
So
to be
it kind
crying
of goes back to what we talked. We
Ooh.
can't emote.
at all.
We can't emote. We can't emote, and we can't have a bad day.
No, because you'll be called an angry Black woman. I've been in my office, not where I work now, but where I've heard our leaders come out of their offices yelling,
Yes,
talking crazy. Someone, and this chick, this one dude, he's like, and she don't know what she's doing, such and such and such and such. Talking about some lady, I don't know what her role was, but he was just going off on her in front of the whole office. She wasn't there. He was just talking about her like in anger.
this is it.
And I'm sitting here in my computer like, this is inappropriate. Like, you're inappropriate. You know what I mean? Like, it's just stuff that be going down in some of these places. Like, that was one of my toxic work environments. I had to get the heck up out of there. But this is the stuff that'll happen. Now, if I go off,
ma'am, you're gonna have to
I gotta call the bulldog.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm literally telling people, I'm not talking to you. Go talk to my boss if you want to talk to me.
Yep.
I'm not even gonna address you. Go to his office and
instead of
let him call me into there. And now we all up in here.
You're the problem.
Yeah.
You become the problem.
And that's exactly what ended up happening. As calm as I even was, I was like, I should have went up on this, but if I was gonna get in trouble, I might as well had went on.
Same with me.
That's how I be feeling. Like,
if I
feel better.
Situation, someone spoke to me inappropriately, and I was very eloquent in my response. Totally missed that she said it. It was, oh, you responded as if you were a manager. What?
What is that?
Exactly.
Like you had some leadership.
Exactly.
Stay in your place.
Yes.
That's what she was really trying to say.
Right.
Stay in your lane. Submit.
So it became, oh, now Kim is the problem. I was triggered.
Girl, I get triggered all the time. And it's the thing. You have to try to I saw something and I didn't get a chance to bring it up. You always have to try to, it takes extra emotional intelligence on our part, extra conflict resolution skills, and all these extra things and hoops we got to jump through to be able to just function in a space. I don't know how we got here, but Cheryl Osborne.
Yeah,
yes.
Sharon.
I was like,
Sharon and Cheryl.
Yes. And Cheryl did a good job, but now everybody else got to hold on their check because she can't act right. Why y'all just replace her? Put somebody in here to come in and guest host until she could get herself together, because she's not gonna get it together.
She isn't.
She was so busy trying to defend Piers Morgan for his hateration of Meghan Markle that instead of, and this is what I say about the self-awareness. You so busy trying to protect him and kind of take up for what, instead of the wrong that was the subject.
Right.
So you, instead of actually addressing the issue that's wrong, you want to protect your friend. That's not right. If you go kick an old lady in the middle of the street and somebody asks me about that, being like, ain't that your girl? Like, are you like that too? You be kicking old ladies because y'all be together. I'll be like, no, I don't get that. Is out of pocket. She's wrong for kicking that lady. You could still be my friend, and I'll be like, and I have addressed her about that, and we have, or something like that. But instead of being like, first of all, don't talk about my friend Kim. She's no. You're not gonna call her out on her wrongness.
Exactly.
Like now you become wrong when you do that. So instead of being like, I'm not a racist. Nobody said you were one. What we're saying is you over here protecting your friend who sounds like he might be one. So when you get to doing all that protecting, then you got us wondering, maybe you are one. Maybe that's why you get so defensive. Because you wouldn't be getting that defensive if you
So like
If
I
you
said,
wouldn't,
it's the awareness for me.
yeah, it's that awareness. You got to have the awareness. And that's where we have the issue. I think y'all go look at Amanda Seals. She's been going off about this on her Instagram because she just like, get rid of that lady. She need to be off the show. Period. People get kicked off for less.
And I just really think that if the tables had been reversed, the show would not have been canceled, and Cheryl would have been canceled from the show.
Oh my gosh. If she had been saying something crazy, please. They got rid of Holly Robinson Pete first. That's how Cheryl got in. She got the token black spot. You know, they always have the little one. This is just a reality, y'all. Look, when we're talking to y'all about this stuff, it's literally just stuff. This is what we would be talking about without this podcast. But this is the stuff that's happening. It's happening in the world. Suggest you go research it, check it out, see what your thoughts are on it. Next week, we are going to be sharing some new. I was gonna say something about it today. I was like, I didn't have my shirt on, but we got some new merch that we want y'all to go. Somebody already went in there and copped some things. I said, oh, she must have just been on the website,
just out there.
Because I was not prepared. I was like, I saw a new order yesterday. I was like, somebody ordered something. Did she order an old shirt or a new shirt? And I'm like, she ordered a new one. She had ordered an old shirt like 2 weeks ago. Then she ordered the new one yesterday. So I was like, oh, people on here about to start ordering. So
thank
that's
y'all
been
for
cool.
supporting us.
Yes. So if you want to purchase some of our new Bold Black Girl merchandise, we have t-shirts. We have shirts for little girls. We also have mugs. So hit us up, boldblackgirls.com.
Right. And now it's like, you know, we have to really walk in our boldness now with everything that's kind of going on. We can't dim our lights. We can't hide behind a rock.
This is the time to ride. This is the time to literally step in. We've never had an opportunity to be as vocal about this as right now. It's not time to let off the gas. It's time to just keep pressing. So get your Bold Black Girl shirt so you can be like, I'm a bold black girl. What? Let them know. I have on my Take Up Space, sis. Take Up Space,
that
sis
shirt.
T-shirt from Tony Jones, who was our guest a couple weeks ago.
The affirmation musician.
Yes. And she got her little QR code on the back and everything.
She does?
I was like, girl, you just gave me an idea. Don't let me get a QR code on the back.
I love it.
So yeah, I love this little shirt. Support her by go get her I See You mantras
and listen album. Right,
listen
that
She's
will awesome. Help you in your boldness too. I mean, I listen to her at least once a week.
She's a part of my prescription that I in my PO box.
Oh my god!
I send her to people when I got certain. I'm like, oh girl, hold on, I got something for you.
I send it to someone too.
You her. I'm gonna send you the Abide meditation app. I have like that's a part of
because this is all what we need to go through. What we go through, like
listen,
to just even be who we are. Right?
It is
to
a
have
journey.
Sanity.
It is a journey. I have my therapist. I have my affirmation music. I have my meditation. I have my Bible. I have my friends. I have my bathtub. and
in my case, my bed.
The backyard with the sun and my birds that I have that live back there. I mean, you got to have a whole case.
Ritual regimen.
Yes.
You really do.
Yes. So make sure you share this podcast with your friends and familia. Go subscribe on YouTube. We just need y'all to subscribe, all right? You listen, it's the same thing you're listening to right now if you're on the podcast, but just go and subscribe on YouTube so that you can support us that way.
Be bold and subscribe.
Right. What else? Go to boldblackgirls.com, get your merch. I'm excited about our new merch.
I am too.
Oh, show your mug right quick. If you're on YouTube, you'll see. So this is our mug because it says Bold Black Girls Podcast, but yours would say look exactly the same, but it would say Bold Black Girls. And we have them in 11 ounce and 15. I like the 15 because I just like bigger mugs.
We're tea drinkers.
Yeah. So go ahead and get your little some for somebody, yourself or somebody else. You know, Mother's Day is coming up soon. I know your mama's a bold black girl. I mean, you know, or if you got bold black women in your life that you want to buy something for, that'll be something creative and the girls. So, all right, we love ya.
We appreciate you.
Appreciate you. And we hope you have a bold week. And we will see you next time.
Peace.
Peace.